Lagos State is offering its people a chance to play a part in the development of its state. Yet again, spurred on by the success of an oversubscribed first phase of its 275 billion naira debt issuance program in 2008, the state government flagged off the second tranche to members of the public this month. Once again floating a 50 billion naira bond through designated security outfits, the state government took this step to continue the financing of its ongoing infrastructural development projects. Speaking to investors at a forum held this month, Governor Fashola outlined the proceeds of the initial offer had been utilized to fund major projects such as the rehabilitation of the roads and hospitals, affirming that this second part will be employed in sectors such as education.
It is historic because this is the first time, to my knowledge, that any subnational government in our country will float two bonds in succession during its tenure. I must tell you that since the launch of the very successful first tranche, which was oversubscribed, our economy has continued to record encouraging signs of growth, and I believe that it can only get better. The second tranche will help us keep that confidence and sustain the hope by continuing the many pending projects such as roads, schools, hospitals, water supply projects, jetties, the light rail, the Lagos-Badagry Expressway, the Lekki-Ikoyi Bridge, and so much more. As long as we keep hope alive, the possibilities are endless.
Presenting the features of this bond, the Commissioner of Finance, Rotimi Oyeka, explained that like the first tranche, this 50 billion naira bond will be issued to the public over a period of 7 years at a fixed interest of 11%, tradable on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, adding that they expected to start the book bill by April.
We expect to have full subscription first, or over-subscription in fact. And going on from there, our feeling is that the prospectus already has a planned agenda of where to spend the money, which we showcased in the presentation that we had. And we will fulfill that obligation also and begin to move on from there in terms of further development of infrastructure. You will agree with me that the amount of money we're seeking now is not even going to be enough for the total project, but we feel that we must measure our requirements in terms of what we can afford to borrow, at what prices, and at what tenures. And that's why you have it in a program, year on year, bit by bit, with the injection of capital into the economy becomes more and more.
Lead advisor Chapel Hill was also present with other participating consultants to answer the curious questions from investors and to reassure them that this would be a worthwhile investment, urging them to have faith in the government's vision for Lagos.
We expect this to be even more successful than the first tranche of the bond was. I think a number of things, are working in our favor. First and most importantly, the results are very apparent for everybody to see in Lagos State. Everybody wants to be supportive of the transformation that's ongoing here. Importantly also, liquidity is probably as close to an all-time high as it has been in our money markets, and interest rates are almost at an all-time low. So when you put all of those elements together, this represents perhaps the most interesting investment trade over the next few weeks for many investors in this market.
One underlying factor you've got to bear is that given the overwhelming liquidity in the market, the yields of comparable FGN bonds have dropped to very low historical levels. So an issue by Lagos State coming out at this time is particularly well timed. We'd expect that investors would indeed be lining up to take their allocations. I urge all my clients to put their name on the paper because you see now 7-year comparable yields are around 6-7% on the FGN side. And Lagos State is promising a band of between 370 to 520 basis points above that. Of course, depending on the book building, that makes it a very attractive instrument in the current environment.
And certainly investors seem to be ready to dip their hands in their pockets. Some asking why the government had not offered more than 50 billion naira in the second tranche, as other organizations and financial institutions affirmed their eagerness to invest.
The bond is a fantastic investment for anybody willing to invest. So we are sort of fully in support of it. Skybank as a group plan to invest in it heavily. And of course, even Sky Financial as a subsidiary is able to buy and sell these bonds from anybody who is willing to buy or sell the bonds. So we're able to provide liquidity for anybody who wants the bonds. Yeah, so I mean, it's a fantastic investment any day.
The government may be looking at another oversubscribed bond with the obvious interest from members of the public. But it's a wait-and-see situation in this financial climate, as investors today are more wary of putting their money in the markets.